Picture it. It's June 2025. I'm exploring BookTube for fun reading advice. New books to read, cool readathons to join, friends whose tastes align with mine so I can find some awesome things that I really want to dig my eyeballs into. And I find HRCYED, who has introduced the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, known colloquially as HRCYED. I'm intrigued. I'm impressed. I have been challenged. It's been 6 months. Let's see how I've done. Hello, hello. Welcome back to our channel. I am Kelly Lynn Colby, editorial director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. I'm also a freelance editor, a writer, and a reader. This HRCYED has been so much fun. Planning for books, discovering new books, communicating with the community that HRCYED has built. Incredible group of creatives that I have totally gelled with and am having so much fun learning their experience and what they're doing and their book recommendations and their craft. Like, they're crafty and they consume too, right? So we also talk about movies and all kinds of stuff. And if you would like to be part of this community, I have linked HRCYED's page below, so you can go to her YouTube page and find all that kind of stuff, and all of her contact stuff is on there. So if you want to be part of this community, then I highly recommend joining. It's been a lot of fun. But I have now been doing this for 6 months. I'm so excited to share with you how this reading challenge has gone. First, this is set up like a bingo board, which I'm not going to show you yet because spoilers, I'll show you when we're done. So there are 25 categories. Some of these categories are white categories, which means a book can only be in one white category. However, that same book can be in as many purple categories as you would like. So a book can be in one white category and in every purple category if that's the way you choose to do it. I am trying to not have any repeats, but there are a few that if I read another book later that takes its place, then I'll put it in. But I'm not making this the strict, this is a like the next level goal, but not I will consider it not done if I have any repeats, because it is legal and I'm going to do it. There are some other ways I have made the challenge more catered to my reading style and the way my brain works, which I think is perfectly okay. It's on HRCYED. They have an entire page, like part channel section that explains the rules. And if you have any questions, you can always ask in there. And a bunch of them have been asked in the past 6 months, so it might already be answered as well. I've tried to stick with the rules as intended as much as I possibly can. So let's see how I've done. You can see here this amazing Excel sheet that, again, HRCYED provided to us. The first category is read a 500-page book in one day. I have not done that one yet. That one is coming up. I have a couple books in mind, so we'll see which one I end up using for that category. A to Z challenge, that's one of the purple ones. For this one, I decided, and for HRCYED's rules, this could be the title of the book, this could be author's first name or last name, any of those things, and that counts. To make it work for my brain, I made these only titles of books, and the, a, and an does not count. So as you can see, I've got A through I complete. J, I still have to do, and I will tell you, out of all of my almost 300 physical books and my almost 100 unread ebooks, I only have one that starts with the letter J, and that's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. So that's definitely going to be in that category. Obviously, I've not read that one yet. Otherwise, it would be in there because it's really thick. So I'll get to it. You're going to see a trend in here. I've learned better and much appreciate now thicker books than I used to, but I'm still a little afraid sometimes. So I haven't quite tackled those thicker books always. K has also been remarkably hard to find. So we will see what book I end up on this one. If you see any of these orange highlighted, that's because I read them in January. So they technically don't count yet. So just so you know, we're talking the first 6 months. So July through December is what I want to talk about today. But if I just cross them off and promise to put them back later, I would forget. So You can see I don't have Q yet, but I do have one set up. I actually researched to make sure I'd have a Q instead of just randomly hoping that one would come up. I had no idea J's were going to be that hard, so I'm glad I did that. V, X, and Y I also have set up. V, there's a bunch of V's, so I should be able to get a V pretty easily. So I'm pretty close to getting this one done. I'm going to say that that's pretty successful over the past 6 months for just doing titles and trying not to duplicate, but some of them are. 3 or more blurbs on a book. So this one, you're supposed to pick a book and then look at the authors who have blurbed them and then choose 3 of those books to read. So I chose One Perfect Couple because they had blurbs on them from authors that I could read. This one is Corrigan, and she is a book reviewer for PBS, but she wrote a memoir. So I was able to read that because she blurbed One Perfect Couple. Last Time I Lied is Riley Sager, also on there. And the last one I'm going to do is Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. One more, and that one will be complete. Very close, very close. Garage sale books. This one, the thrifting books also count. So if you've watched any of the book hauls I've done, I got a little bit addicted to thrifting. So I have a bunch of those. Over half of the books on this list would count for there anyways. This is a white category though. So the ones I put in here can't be put in any other white category. The book one, so I just chose the first 3 that I read that were thrifted. Uprooted, Crazy Rich Asians, and A Discovery of Witches. All 3 of which were... Uprooted was from the library, and the other 2 were from Goodwill's. 5 author tuber books. I've read Delicious Monsters by LaSalle Sambury and Dangerous Assassin by Elizabeth Wheatley. 3 others I have chosen, including QWordy's, The Humane Society for Creatures and Cryptids. That will be one of those books. I have 3 left. I have not made much forward momentum on that, so I need to do better. 4+ book series. This had to be a book series you had not started before this contest, this challenge started. And they had to have at least 4 books in it. I chose The Wizard of Earthsea, The Earthsea Cycle by Ursula K. Le Guin to do. It is a classic series. As of December 31st, I had 2 books left. You can see the spoiler with the orange. As of January. Yeah, you get it. But anyways, so very close, almost done. I predict I might be able to finish it very soon. The next category, I have to remember to scroll this properly, is 5 books from 5 small booktubers. QWordy defines small booktubers as anyone who has less than 5,000 followers. I've been following so many people of every range, from 200 followers to hundreds of thousands of followers. Finding booktubers under 5,000 wasn't that hard. There was a bunch of them. I should probably just talk about who they were recommended by. I have a little cheat sheet here so I can predict what is happening. So Rebecca was recommended by Good Books Lately. Belcanto was recommended by Becca Books and Bujo. Beartown was recommended by The Reading Nymph. I have 2 more to go. The Road was recommended by Chantal. And Daisy Jones and the Sixth was recommended by Meg with Books. So I have 2 more to finish that category. 5 books in other countries, or either the books take place in other countries or the authors from other countries. She said no US, UK, or Canada. I also said no Australia. I tried for no English speaking from European descent kind of countries, right? I ended up with Womb City from Botswana. The Poisonwood Bible takes place in the Congo. The Spanish Love Deception, half of it takes place in Spain. Mexican Gothic takes place in Mexico. And We Are the Beasts takes place in France. Love that one. So it's done. Woohoo! I like the completed. And you see when you check them off, they turn green. See? How cool is that? QWordy is amazing. All right, Queer Rainbow Challenge. This is a purple one, so these books can cross over to other things. I do have the lesbian category done for This Is How You Lose the Time War. Gay was House in the Cerulean Sea. Trans is A Sure Thing. Bi-Pan was The Pairing. Questioning, I do have planned. It's going to be The Bachelor's Valet. Intersex will be Golden Boy. Asexual is Baker Thief. So I've just started these ones. 5 lowest rated books. I chose the 5 lowest rated on Goodreads. So whether I own them or not, just the 5 lowest. And this adjusted as I kept getting new books. Like I would add books, this would adjust to the bottom. So I ended up just doing like anything that was under 3.0. And I tried to go as far back as I could. I ended up doing Her, The Girl in the Tree, Second Life, The Garden, and the last one I'm going to do, hint, hint, is The Divorcees, which I also predict shall be done sometime in the recent future. For direct from the indie author book, I have a ton of those. I do a lot of author events. I see a lot of authors. I go to a lot of cons. I mean, I run a small indie press. This is part of my world. So this one was pretty easy for me. And it was direct from the indie author. I chose Island Realm by Rebecca Mesta and Kevin J. Anderson. I had that one. I had it all signed and everything. So I just chose that one. It ended up being pulled from my TBR jar, and that is what I read. So that one is done. Yay. Local author bookstore purchase. This was fun. Again, if you do this channel at all, my local favorite indie bookstore is Copperfield's Books. And they have an entire section that's all indie authors. And I found Tales from Grimlock Cove by Oscar Whiting. And I met him at the indie book fair at Copperfield's last April. This was a treat, a true treat to be able to pick up his book from the bookstore and read that one. That was fun. So check. Next category is a purple one, and it's Spell Your Full Name. I chose to only use the last names of authors for this category. It turns out I have a lot of L's in my name. So for K, I used Kevin Kwan. E was Amal El-Matar. First L was Harriet Lane. Second L was Ursula K. Le Guin. Do not have Y's yet. Don't have any Y's. Third L, I guess in this case, was Joanna Lowell. Or Lowell. First N, Naomi Novik. And if I have any say, the second one will also be. I want to read Spinning Silver so badly. C was Melissa Caruso. Do not have an O yet. This L is Ursula K. Le Guin. Again, I'm going to leave that. It's okay. They're allowed to be, that's separate books, right? So we're good. B was Max Berry. That was Lexicon. Such a good book. And no Y's. So I had to go look up Y authors, and obviously Rebecca Yarros counts as one. I could just read all 3, and that would be all 3 books. But we'll see. I've got a few of them in here. Yardley is one of the authors that I can fill in the Y's. But I'm like, I have too many Y's and too many L's. SPFBO non-finalist. This has been the hardest category for me. These are, again, indie, obviously. Again, I have no bias against indie. But if I don't know them at all, it's really hard to choose which one to go with. There's a huge bunch of them. They're not reviewed a lot, which is why QWordy put this in, to give them a bit more exposure. So I wasn't quite sure exactly which ones to do. So this one I've definitely kind of procrastinated a bit on it. Luckily, though, because it is indie, they're almost all in KU, so I can just read them through there, which is very convenient. I did end up reading Baker Thief, so I've read that one. And In the Jaded Grove is the next one I plan on reading in January. Hint, hint. I also have, let's see, this one, The Bachelor's Valet by Arden Powell. So much looking forward to that one. The Fae of Castle Garden, and Under the Lesser Moon by Shelley Campbell. That might be a name that you recognize. We published their Shelley Campbell and Megan King's post-apocalyptic YA. So Knowledge Itself. So we have that one here. And I was like, what? Nominated for SPFBO? Yeah, I'm definitely going to read her other books. So that was exciting. Let's see. But not complete yet. So I have quite a ways to go on this one. Webcomic. I ended up reading Madame Outlaw on Webtoons. Bought the credits I needed to just to get that one over with. That was the first category I completed right away. First one checked off. Webcomics, not my thing. Comics are not my thing. It's just not. But I'm challenged, so let me find one, and that's what I did. And it was fine. Like I said, it's not my thing. Nothing against that comic whatsoever. Just I'm not big on comics. New release, this one is another purple one. So if something goes in here, it can go somewhere else, which is why you will see some duplicates. July, I read The God of the Woods. August, The Pairing. September, Seemingly Impossible Life of Amanda Dean by Anne Rose. You've got to try that one. It's amazing. October is Demon's Bluff. November is All the Truth I Can Stand. December, We Are the Beasts. And January, I'm going to read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. This category, you have to read the book in the month that it is released, or 30 days within when it's released. Like, I think I actually finished Demon's Bluff in November because it was released at the end of October. So you have 30 days from the release date to read it. This one I cannot finish early. I cannot finish before because I have to go all the way to June. So even if I finish everything else, this will not be completed, like complete blackout bingo board, until June. I really like that aspect of it because it allows me to calm down. I don't have to stress and make sure I get everything done right away because I cannot complete it until June. This might be one of my favorite parts of this challenge. I'm doing a couple other challenges that are year long, but I can finish them all in just a couple months. So the stress is different for that. Where this one, this makes me space it out. It makes me calm and I'm okay. I have plenty of time. Don't stress it out. I can't finish till June. I really like that. I really hope that she puts that in the one for next year. Now for my least favorite category, top 10 in the year you were born. Well, I was born in 1975. Writing was different then, and I was not looking forward to any of those books. I ended up reading Looking for Mr. Goodbar, and it was awful. Awful. By the way, to check these off by her rules, so if I want to follow her rules, which I have chosen to do to the best of my ability, you cannot DNF a book. DNF does not count. Also, no rereads. So DNF does not count. I was like, well, I can't DNF it. So I have to finish it. Oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Nightmare. That book was awful. I'll move on. Finish 3 books in 24 hours. I did just complete this one in December. Ended up reading The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery, The Midnight Library, and Smile. I also did Sisters, which is part 2 of Smiles, because those 2 are graphic novels. But I was getting to the end of the 24 hours, and I was like, I have to read the last ones. You had to have at least one book over 300 pages, and both of these were just over 300 pages. So reading 2 graphic novels at the end to complete that, I didn't feel guilty about that. It is within the rules. So I ended up doing that. It's really hard for me to concentrate that long. So I call that a victory. Recipe in the book. This one was fun. So I ended up reading Pupcakes over Christmas. It was on another reading challenge that I was doing. It's cute. It was very cute. And they had a peanut butter banana dog treat in it. No recipe. So I looked up a recipe, but she was a baker. So this is one of the things that she baked in there. And the dogs loved it. So that was really fun. It had to be something that you had not cooked or baked before. And I had never made peanut butter banana dog treats, which, by the way, we cook and bake a lot. So it wasn't that easy to find something I hadn't made before. So having this was great. And it cannot be a cookbook, right? So it's recipe in a book that is not a cookbook. But done, checked off, done with that one too. Genre challenge, which I finished like the first month. This one was also extremely easy. It is a purple challenge, so things that are in this category can be in another one. The fantasy ended up reading The Blood Mirror. That is the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. Highly, highly recommend. So good. It's 5 books. Read it. Womb City for sci-fi. Mystery thrillers, The God of the Woods. Horrors, The Reformatory. Romance was The Spanish Love Deception. Love that book. History, The Poisonwood Bible. Or historical, excuse me, not history. Historical, The Poisonwood Bible. Nonfiction, The Baseball 100, which I actually quite enjoyed, which surprises me since I'm the sports ball girl. I don't know anything. There were really cool stories in there. and bel canto for literary. Crowdfunded. I have not done this one yet, but I know which one I'm going to do, and that's going to be Bats in the Belfry because I supported the Kickstarter for that. It's Bats in the Belfry by Kevin J. Anderson. So I will be reading that one. The Rainbow Challenge. This is the cover color. So the predominant color on the cover. This one is also a purple category, so they could be in more. Again, this one was pretty simple as well to complete. I ended up doing the Blood Mirror for red. Ooh, that's a duplicate. I have some more red. I can replace that now. Anyways. Orange, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. Uprooted for yellow. The God of the Woods for green. Blue is Bel Canto. Purple is Island Realm. Pink is Happy Place. White, Obsidian Tower. Black, Rebecca. And brown, Leave Me Alone, I'm Reading. Some of these might, by the end, when I do the wrap-up, might be different because notice how there's a bunch of duplicate in this one that as I read other books that don't fit under anything else, so in other words, I'm not duplicating them, I will probably replace these. Because why not? If I can have the single ones, then let's do it. Classic and its adaptation. This is one, read a classic and then read something that was an adaptation of that classic. I ended up reading The Haunting of Hill House and then reading A Haunting on the Hill, which is an adaptation. It's supposed to be like a sequel, kind of. It was very confusing, but, different author. Obviously, it was just written. And that kind of thing. So that one worked. Haunting of Hill House, which I'd wanted to read for years. So it was really cool to have this excuse to do that. And A Haunting on the Hill. Completed. Check. 3 protagonist names of people that you know. So these had to be names like of main characters in the book of people that you knew. Ended up using The Last Dragon Slayer. There's Jennifer in that. I know lots of Jennifers. Lots through Girl Scout volunteering. Egypt's Fire, John. John's my neighbor, so that one was easy, and there's a bunch more Johns, but that's the most recent John. Seemingly Impossible Love Life of Amanda Dean. Main character is Amanda, which was my ex-sister-in-law. So there you go. All kinds of names. That one was not too bad at all. Book for every season. This is another one I can't finish till the spring, right? Because you have to read a book in each season during that season. And we haven't got to spring yet. So summer, I ended up reading Happy Place. My first Emily Henry, loved it. Cackle in the fall. My first Rachel Harrison, loved that too. Winter, I ended up reading I plan on reading Night Circus in January. I don't know if this one should count as winter or not, but when I read it, oh yeah, there's so much ice scenes in there and cold, and it definitely has that winter. And it's only at night, so it definitely feels wintry. So that will be the one. Spring, I have no idea what I'm going to read for the spring. We'll see what I'm in the mood for and what happens to work for that category. But that's where I'm at. So if we scan up to the top, you will see I have 14 blocks complete. The green are the complete ones. I guess I should take one of these off. So it should be 13 blocks complete because I do have this series since it's January. I finished that one. So 13 out of 25. I'm halfway. That's pretty impressive. And as you saw, I have something done in all the categories except 2 that are just one book. I haven't finished those 2. But I'm making progress. I feel pretty good about where we are. But the interesting thing, just as you'll notice with all these boxes, halfway through, got half the boxes done. There's no bingo. I mean, look at that. This is very creative that I have all these things done, but there's no bingo. So it might have been harder to try to get a bingo than to just finish the whole darn board. You might as well do it. Because, look. Of course, I guess if I was going for a bingo, I probably would have prioritized differently. But I love it. This has been amazing. I've had a great old time reading things that I never would have thought to read, exploring new authors. Just, I'm so grateful that this project was out there. So let's see. Let's go back here. So what do you think? Are you participating in HRCYED? Where are you in your challenge? What has been the most challenging category for you? Do you need any book recommendations? I have a few. Very excited. There's also a ton, again, on the Discord for QWordy's Discord for HRCYED. Highly recommend that too if you want more info. But awesome. Very excited about this. I can't wait. I'm excited to see what happens for this next year and other reading challenges that I am up for. I don't know. This is my new life and I kind of love it. Awesome. All right. If you want to join our shenanigans, I also have the link for our Discord. You can join us at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. Please join our crew. We are a bunch of fun. We do a lot of cooking ourselves. We do a lot of art on there. We have, of course, book recommendations and then just general life stuff too. We're a very supportive community and we would love to have you. If you would like to be a part, please come join us. And I'll see you next time.